Yeah, that's a wrap with Leon Edwards. Count him out. It's over. Out with the old, in with the new. Sean Brady, apparently. Leon Edwards, he's toast, boys. That's it. He's done. Never sniffing the title again. Belal's having a field day on X. It is a weird time because I used to absolutely adore Leon Edwards. I know he's a boring fighter. I know you guys don't really enjoy him all the time. But for what he did and what he showed us can be done in the clinch against wrestlers, a wrestling heavy division, like, I was like, man, Leon's an interesting case study. Instead, he decides, oh, I'm going to get ragdolled by two wrestlers in a row that don't do what I want. And yeah, we're going to talk about all that today and more. Whoo, Leon Edwards, I mean, like, do y'all think he's done? Do y'all think it's over? Because I do. I like watching that performance, man. And like the first round, I'm like, okay, that's not a bad start to the first round, you know? He didn't fight terrible there in that first round. I felt like he won the first round. But Sean Brady had the perfect game plan, and he got it from Belal Muhammad, okay? Brady kept his foot on the gas, stayed in Edwards' face, and had Leon Edwards not wanting to strike. That is the key, right? Having Leon Edwards not wanting to strike, that's, first of all, that's incredible. Like, if we're going to be honest, like, if you have Leon Edwards, like, resetting the entire time, like, we talked about this if you came in on the live stream. We talked about it with Ghost about why Kamaru Usman, who was known for his pressure and pace, why Kamaru Usman couldn't do this. It's because of his plodding footwork. He wasn't as fast. But Belal Muhammad, he didn't have shot knees. Sean Brady didn't have shot knees. And once the cat's out of the bag, guys, that's a done deal. Leon Edwards has confidence problems. And once Sean Brady took over that fight, the confidence was done. You could see him sitting in the corner. They got like the image going by of him just kind of sitting there like shell-shocked that this is happening again. Crazy, man. Crazy performance. And we're going to talk about how Sean Brady did it, early or later in the show here. But the fact that he just shut down Leon Edwards, it seems like you look at these guys coming up, and they're not any better for Leon Edwards. Let's take a look. Go over to the web here. Let's go down to welterweight. So you got Belal Muhammad. Leon's going. Shavkat's going to run through him. Usman shot. Jack Della's going to stay in his face. Sean Brady just beat him. Buckley's going to stay in his face. Ian Gary, a little bit younger. Burns shot. Covington shot. Michael Morales, Carlos Paredes. Like, these guys are dangerous for Leon Edwards. Incredibly dangerous. And, I mean, you can't watch that fight and be optimistic about Edwards' future. We see it all the time with champions. Like, they'll lose and then just go on this terrible run. Anderson Silva, Cody Garbrandt, half the welterweight fighters, like Tyron Woodley. I can't say Kamaru Usman yet. Robbie Lawler, Johnny Hendricks. Those guys lost it and never were the same. Dominic Reyes didn't even win the title, and he wasn't the same. Leon Edwards, he's not as old as the rest of the welterweight era he grew up in. But the age is showing, like, fight age-wise. It's over. And I've been watching this sport for over 10 years, right? And you see this all the time. Like, I remember the era of light heavyweight being the best division in the UFC. You had Rumble, you had Gustafsson, you had DC, you had John Jones. Like, the division was incredible at that time. But, like, it moved on. DC retired. Gustafsson starts losing to Volkan Ozdemir and Anthony Smith. Rumble moves on. Can't beat DC. He retires. Rest in peace, Rumble. You see this changing of the guard. And we've seen it in like featherweight with Ilya Topuria coming on and defeating Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski. Like, Holloway was that guy at one point in time, right? Defeating Frankie Edgar and Jose Aldo. Now, Jose Aldo was like around for forever and a day, but that's a different story. I feel like Leon Edwards is done being an elite contender. He's probably still top 15. You see guys like, Gilbert Burns in there, like, oh, he can beat Gilbert Burns, but like, he's not beating a Shavkat Rakhmonov or Jack Della Maddalena. He's not. Sean Brady's next steps needs to be another fight, though. He does not need to give it time in between to let this thing simmer. This was the best win of his career by far. There's not a better Sean Brady win. There's not. I'm pulling it up now just to kind of take a peek at what he's done. But like, he's 18-1, guys. His loss was to Belal Muhammad in 2022. We laughed at him then because like, Muhammad knocking you out, what? But since then, Kimura gassled him, decision Burns, and guillotines Leon Edwards. Like, Sean Brady's a really good fighter. And looking at the rest of this division, he's going to pop up to number 2. I don't see him jumping over Shavkat Rakhmonov. He might with that win over Edwards. That Edwards win is better than anything Shavkat's done. But what he needs to do next is just get another fight in. And that's going to be like, I'm assuming that Jack Della or Belal win convincingly and the UFC's ready to move on to the next title shot, which means Shavkat would get that shot, right? The timelines kind of add up there. I'm looking at like Kamaru Usman, Joaquin Buckley, and who was the other one I had mentioned? Hold on, I don't remember. Kamaru Usman, Joaquin Buckley, and Shavkat. I mentioned Shavkat. Like if they want Shavkat to earn it, like Sean Brady would be a good fight for him to earn it against. And that would be a good fight for Sean Brady to be like, hey, I'm him. Nobody's beating me. Sean Brady pulled the game plan to beat Leon Edwards straight out of the Belal Muhammad footwork. He talked about in his post-fight presser. And what it was is basically Leon Edwards likes to be at the perfect distance, and he likes to fight and engage on his terms. Again, if you come in the live stream on Fridays, we talk this kind of stuff. I talked with Ghost the Phantom Punch MMA, like one of the best analysts in the game. And we talked about how Leon Edwards doesn't like to engage except if it's on his own terms. And Belal Muhammad worked out, hey, if I just keep making him reset, he'll never get anything off. And eventually I could dump him on his head. Now, a lot of people are making fun of like Leon Edwards for taking a shot against Sean Brady, but this isn't nothing new. He's done this before against Belal, against Kamaru Usman, against Colby Covington. Like he shoots takedowns. But like that was the third round, and then it was just the beginning of the end. Sean Brady just smothered him. It wasn't even like devastating ground and pound like we know from Sean Brady. Now, the whole pressure thing worked for him. He managed to push Edwards against the cage, and Edwards does a good job against the cage. But what I really liked from Sean Brady was the fact that he was able to get takedowns in the center of the ring. Again, I'm pitching the live stream. I want you guys to come hang out and drop comments and tell me what's up. Talk to whoever comes this weekend. But me and Ghost mentioned that like it seems like Leon Edwards concedes when he's taken down in the center of the cage, when he can't use the cage to fight. That's what Sean Brady did. That's how Sean Brady won. When he got the takedown against the cage, he pull him away. He would go do his thing. Once he got him away from the cage, like he would turn him away from the cage. It's brilliant. Fantastic. I don't think Sean Brady wins the title. I don't think he beats Belal Muhammad. He might. I don't know. He might. He's got a good team around him, But I don't know. Like that getting knocked out by Belal Muhammad doesn't really inspire much confidence. He's at Renzo Gracie. That's Pat Sabatini, Daniel Gracie's the coach, Petrosky, Jeremiah Wells. Yeah, I mean, there's some good names there. He's not training with a bunch of nobodies. He's training with some good fighters there. I wouldn't say it's like the best gym out there, but I mean, obviously they got the number 2 ranked welterweight contender in the world. So, yeah, Sean Brady, I do think he needs to get one more fight though. I think that's going to be his path to the title if he gets there. Now, I'm not sold on Carlos Ulberg. Co-main event. He defeated Jan Blachowicz via unanimous decision. I think it was. Maybe might have been a split decision. No, it was a unanimous decision. And going into this fight, I wrote for the MMA Draw talking about, I picked Ulberg to win this fight, and I also mentioned that, Jan Blachowicz has been out for almost 2 years. It was an injury. I mean, have you seen him punch? Like, we know he's not going to have a good shoulder, and that's what his injury was. Jan Blachowicz. And this was kind of a type of fight where, like, everybody's pulling for Carlos Ulberg to win because they want him to win. They want new blood at light heavyweight. You got Ankalaev, the new champion. There's a bunch of fresh matchups for Ankalaev. I mean, it's nothing like really exciting per se, but you want the Carlos Ulberg to get in there and kind of shake things up because everybody's getting tired of seeing Yuri Prochazka fight and getting tired of seeing, Jamal Hill do his thing. Alex Pereira's already cleaned out the division. You got Khalil Roundtree coming up. I mean, there's some options there for Magomed Ankalaev. But Carlos Ulberg is the one that everybody's like, yay. I'm not. Jan Blachowicz is a hard fighter to fight. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, let's talk about his wins real quick. We got that pulled up. Jan Blachowicz right here. Let's talk about who he's fought. So Ulberg, we don't know how great he is yet. Alex Pereira, split decision. Very close fight. Remember, that's the one that was at altitude. Blachowicz like dominated on the ground, and then Alex kind of just pieced them together. The split decision draw with Magomed Ankalaev, like smashing his legs. Glover Teixeira, that wasn't really as close of a fight. But the Alexander Rakic fight, the leg injury, he was losing that. Israel Adesanya, Dominic Reyes, Jacare, Luke Rockhold. Santos beat him. Jimmy Manuwa. These are some good names he's beat. And he's so awkward and so confusing to fight. Like, the way he fights is just weird. He's going to let you hit his shins and he's going to let you hurt himself. And he fights at weird cadences. So I didn't expect Carlos Ulberg to look amazing in this fight. I expected Carlos Ulberg to go out there and maybe finish Jan Blachowicz coming off the injury, a bunch of time off, recovery time. Instead, I got a Carlos Ulberg who spammed the jab and leaning back on the left hook. What we knew he did. Now, he looked better in his last fight against Ozdemir. He had to do some different things. Here, he just kept looking for it. Kept kicking the leg, kept jab, and left hook. That's pretty much all there was to his game. He showed us that he's not very, in-depth when it comes to striking. Instead, he's like, I'm going to do what I do. And it didn't work against Jan Blachowicz. I scored the fight for Blachowicz, actually. I felt like Blachowicz had more success coming forward and whatnot. Carlos Ulberg was on the back foot a lot. At the same time, though, like, I don't think he really beats a Magomed Ankalaev whose game is able to adjust. I don't think he beats an Alex Pereira who's way more technically proficient than he is. It would be cool to see Pereira and Ulberg fight because of the whole, Ulberg trains at City Kickboxing, Izzy's gym. But, I mean, I think they're booking the rematch between Ankalaev and Alex Pereira. Ulberg, there's options out there for him at light heavyweight, there's the Yuri Prochazka fight, which would be the one to make. I think Yuri would run through him. And there's just some other fights out there for him. But overall, not sold on Carlos Ulberg. Kevin Holland strikes back. Like, the Empire Strikes Back. You get it, guys? Star Wars! I love Star Wars and make the references when I can. I'm sure you've noticed. He took on a Gunnar Nelson who was coming off of a 2-year layoff. Gunnar Nelson just isn't committed to fighting. And, Holland looked fairly good, and this is another fight I didn't have Holland winning. Now, I don't have issues with either of the fighters winning. I don't have issue with a Carlos Ulberg or Kevin Holland win. Like, it was very close fights, and the two of the rounds in each fight could go either way, right? But, he took on Gunnar Nelson, and Nelson's going to look for a smash and look to, kind of dominate and take down Kevin Holland, who's known to be allergic to takedowns. And Kevin Holland showed that, hey, I'm no slouch on the ground off my back. I can throw up some jiu-jitsu. But the problem with Kevin Holland, he's always like conceded to or okay to be fighting off of his back when that doesn't win you rounds. He had a really nice 1-2. Really hurt Gunnar Nelson at the end of that first round. I thought that was pretty fun. I thought that was where Holland was going to take over. He didn't. Nelson fought his way back into it, and after largely dominating the first round and then almost getting knocked down, and that cost Gunnar Nelson the fight. That one strike. What else happened on this card? Let's look. Molly McCann was soundly defeated, rear naked choke in the first round. She retired. Alexa Thaniera. Okay, I don't put too much stock into beating Molly McCann. Chris Duncan defeated Jordan Vucenic. Everybody was real hype on Jordan. Duncan came in there and just really had a good time with that. Nathaniel Wood and Morgan Charrier. Did I call it or what? Morgan Charrier loses to good fighters. Like Saladin Parnass, Soren Bach. Who else was there? Come on, quit clicking that. My laptop's being lame. Let's see. Shepe turned out to be good. Paul Hughes. Jordan Vucenic again, like we just saw. So, I thought, Nathaniel would be a little too good for him. Jai Herbert lost again, split decision to Chris Padilla. That really was terrible for him. Loner Kavanagh, the Irish guy that represents China, beat Felipe Dos Santos. He's real good, man. 9-0. I'm a fan. I think he's got a pretty high ceiling. I don't know if champion or top 5 wise, but I think he can make a good run at 125. We need some good fighters there. Marcin Tybura took a really questionable decision over Mick Parkin. Christian Leroy Duncan beat Pulayev. India continues to lose in the UFC. Lagrin beat Nathan Fletcher. That was a decent little scrap too. Then Fernandez beat Guram Kutateladze, who looks like he's absolutely done. Terrible night of fights, if I'm being honest. A bunch of decisions, just boring, no soul to it at all. I don't know how to explain it. But that's what happens. This is where we at in the sport right now. Sucks because the athletes are great. They're better than they've ever been. I don't know. Anyways, guys, that's Fight Finders. I'm big on it right now. Episode 6 just dropped. Go check this out because it's fun. Watch it here. This is where we go and follow LSU Wrestling Club. NCAA is just completed with huge upsets, huge stories. Big wrestling guy. I'm hoping to do more wrestling next year, so stay posted. Catch up. Fight Finders 7 is on the way.